Hello and welcome back to RedditRead, a channel where we read Reddit stories and talk about them a little bit. No AI voices here, I read all the stories myself. And today's theme is all about 4th of July stories. It's July 3rd as of recording, which means tomorrow is America's 250th birthday, 250 years of good old American freedom. So if you're not from the US, 4th of July, there's always a lot of barbecues, parties, celebrations going on, and sometimes they go really bad because there's usually alcohol and fireworks involved, and those stories are also on Reddit. I'm once again joined by my best friend, Kerrigan, who has experienced lots of 4th of Julys. Have you ever had a 4th of July party or anything that's just been crazy?
I had one where someone threw dynamite in the yard.
Dynamite? Isn't that what fireworks basically are? They're just...
Yeah, but this was like a stick of dynamite like this big. All it did was explode. And they didn't tell anyone. Like, they snuck down in the yard and they just lit it and chucked it. So no one knew it was going off. And dynamite is a little bit louder than a firework.
You think?
And it left a crater in the yard, like this big.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we have any stories like that today. Before we get started, I have to remind you guys to like and subscribe down below and check us out on Spotify via the link in the description if you'd rather watch it there. Thank you. But without any further ado, let's get into our first story, which comes from Am I the Asshole? And the title reads, Am I the asshole for not inviting my cousin to our family 4th of July barbecue after how she acted last year? My cousin doubles as my dad's personal assistant / caregiver and is here for a few hours per day on weekdays. In many respects, she is very helpful, but she's also a loud, highly opinionated type A with boundary issues who has a tendency to try to commandeer things that are not in her domain, and she can turn something simple into something very difficult. Last year, though she was invited, she told us she would not be coming to the barbecue because she just wanted to stay home and relax. We told her that was fine and not to worry about it. It was her day off anyway. She lives a bit far, and there was nothing my dad needed for her to do. My dad and I had done the shopping. He was capable of manning the barbecue on his own, and my mother, who has an unnecessarily large collection of serving dishes because she likes to set up hors d'oeuvres and the likes, was going to help me with the food prep. Most of the houses here are open with a kitchen peninsula / bar, dividing the kitchen from the family room, and such was the design of our house. My mother and I set up our spread on the peninsula for easy access, and then everyone chilled in the family room while we waited for the barbecued items to be done. As we were sitting there talking and chilling, my cousin stormed in unannounced like she was conducting a surprise inspection. And when I say stormed in, I mean she came flying in, as she tends to do. She said she just decided to stop by, though she lives 40 miles away, and then almost immediately started taking the food off the peninsula, telling us we should instead put it on the dining room table. We were all perplexed by this because the dining room was out of the way on the other side of the kitchen and was away from our gathering area. We all told her as much, but she kept arguing with us about it while trying to relocate items and didn't stop until I literally wrestled a bowl of chips out of her hands and set it back down on the peninsula. After that defeat, she instantly spotted something else that she felt we didn't do right and tried to fix. And again, we had to stop her and tell her to leave it and to just sit down and relax. But she kept at it, storming around, trying to modify things, all the while complaining that she was stressed and felt like she was at work, while loudly declaring that she was going to go home, but not actually leaving. By this point, my mother was upset and everyone was completely bewildered, so I told my cousin to actually leave. This year, I haven't told her about the gathering and told my mother that I prefer to keep it that way. But my mother, who has a fear of other people being alone on holidays, thinks I'm being mean, but I just really want a calm, relaxing, nice time.
Not the asshole.
No,
Not
no.
the asshole. This is their property, you know? You can't just come in there and change it up.
Given a surprise inspection.
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine she walked in with like a food like temperature probe
my
thing.
God.
It's like, I'm conducting a health inspection
I was
on
gonna
this
say,
gathering.
I saw you didn't wash your hands before you handled that food.
There is not an employees must wash hand sign above this sink. This is a violation. I imagine her like that because she said surprise inspection.
Yeah, literally. But it's like, what gives you the right to just walk in? And one, it's like, okay, if you were hosting the party, I can understand if you wanted to switch it up. But it's not your house. it's not your party that you're throwing. You didn't buy any of the food or prepare it all. So, like, why do you think you can come in and just change it? Especially in ways that don't make sense.
Because I mean, I think she just likes to cause problems. Like, some people really love just causing problems. Like, it brings them joy to cause other people trouble. And I think that is this person, because she lives 40 miles away. She doesn't even live close to there.
Did she say at the beginning, did OP say that she's her dad's caregiver?
Personal assistant / caregiver.
What the does the dad do that?
Wait, so she's not even part of the family.
She said cousin.
Oh, she's a cousin. Oh, yeah, my cousin.
So
Cousin doubles as dad's personal assistant and caregiver.
What does your dad do that he needs a caregiver
or
assistant?
So is it more, I don't know if it's more of a personal assistant or a caregiver. Because, wait a minute, but
like,
didn't she say
caregiving, what is the caregiving that the cousin does? Like, does she, like, does the dad have, like, health issues that she has to assist with? But it's like, okay, I don't understand that.
Well, I don't think the dad has, like, any serious health issues, because she says my dad and I had done the shopping. So, like, they went shopping together. So, like, the guy can leave the house.
So, like, why did they refer to her as a caregiver then? Because when you say caregiver, to me, I picture someone who, like, cares for people who need help because they have health issues.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
assistant,
that was...
okay, maybe if he works...
Well, and the dad is barbecuing. He's manning the grill.
So what does she
He has the most important role.
Yeah, I gotta stand around with a beer in one hand, all the other guys circling.
Beer in one hand, what's his
spatula?
Yeah, spatula in the other.
Got the tongs for the broads, you know.
So I don't think it's a caregiver. If he can grill stuff, I don't know. So maybe it's more of a personal assistant.
Maybe that's the only time, like, he is, like, healthy, is when he's manning the grill.
Is when he's manning
the grill.
That's all he can do is go to the store and man the grill.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I don't need a caregiver right now. I need to get these burgers and brats done.
So OP's asking if they're the asshole for not inviting her to the next, like, this year's 4th of July. Because this was 13 days ago. So this is like this 4th of July. So there could be an update like a month from now that's like, yeah, she showed up again. But
she showed up with fireworks, blasting them at the cookout.
She shot a firework through the front door and said, "Surprise inspection."
Had some Roman candles, firecrackers. Imagine being bombed by fireworks.
That's what they should have done in 1776.
Oh my god. Yeah, when they were fighting for our freedom.
They would have won well, even though we did win, they would have won against the British right away if they surprised them with fireworks, because they wouldn't be expecting that.
Imagine being a British soldier and someone throws a firecracker at your face. Like the whole strip, you know?
Yeah. They'd be so flabbergasted that they'd just be like, you know what? You can have it. You can have the country. You know?
I thought they were pretty flabbergasted because they are all taught to stand in a line with a musket and just shoot. And we were up in the trees.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So the mom has a fear of other people being alone on holidays, which I've never heard of. Somebody having a fear of other people being alone on the holidays. So yeah, the mom's, she sounds like a people pleaser. She just wants everyone to be happy. But if this like cousin is there, I don't think everyone's gonna be happy.
And it sounds like OP said that she's kind of like this all the time.
Yeah, which
so it's like,
I don't think somebody who does this at a party is only like this on 4th of July. It's not like the freedom rings through her and she just acts like this on 4th of July.
American Eagle takes over and she has to assert dominance. You know,
she gets that eagle instinct and she just has to come in and
she sounds more like the British in this situation. All the Americans are just trying to have a good life and she comes in.
Okay, so we're going to change this. I don't like this. No, this is wrong. This is wrong. Everything's wrong.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you can leave.
Okay, OP did respond to a comment here. So somebody said, Not the asshole. Sounds like her cousin is used to being in charge in your home while she's caring for your father. She needs a reality check. Don't invite her. That didn't work last year, so you need to put things into place to keep her from coming or being allowed in. When she does show up, don't let her in. You might need to find another care provider as she's become way too familiar with your home.
So the cousin does take care of the dad. I'm so confused right now.
So
what does the dad need help with?
I don't know. Because
does that matter to the story? No.
No, but I mean, if you
know.
can man a barbecue, I mean, you can basically do anything.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If you can go to the store and you can get the stuff and you can stand over a hot grill and grill your burgers and stuff, you're fine. You don't need a caregiver.
Yeah, I mean, it's as long as you can have a beer in one hand and a spatula in the other, that's all you need for life.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Opie said in response to that, you would think, but her job is to actually just help him manage bills and appointments with other clerical type tasks. But she keeps doing things that are really outside of her job description and that we tell her she doesn't have to do, but she tries to do them anyway and complains about it the whole time as if they are things she has to do. For example, it's absolutely not her job to do his laundry, and we've told her as much, but she does it anyway and complains about it the whole time.
Oh my God.
So she likes creating more work for herself and then complaining about it for making more work.
Yeah, so it does sound like she's a control freak. She probably just gets off on having like this kind of like power in a way, you know?
Yeah, she seems like, well, it sounds like she wants to have control over everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even stuff that's like the laundry.
Yeah.
Like nobody's telling her to do that, but she's like, well, I'm not in control of it, so I have to do it.
Mm-hmm. And then she complains about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm now more confused though, because, and maybe this is just like mean of me, but like, does he not have he clearly has a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And a wife, maybe, unless they're divorced.
Yeah, maybe they don't live together, so he doesn't have anybody, because the kids probably don't live with him. Because these are adult kids, right?
But the cousin doesn't live with him either. She lives 40 miles away.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Maybe the kid just lives far. You know, who knows? Who knows?
And she's not a caregiver, I wouldn't say.
No.
If she's just managing the guy's bills.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like she's trying to be a caregiver.
Well, yeah, she's trying to be, but they say it's only for a few hours per day on weekdays, so it's not like a full-time thing.
You know.
It's just a few hours.
So maybe she doesn't have a job and they're trying to be helpful.
Yeah, because I'm like, if she lives 40 miles away and she's only doing this for a few hours and she's driving all that way every day just to work for a couple hours.
And also, how many hours does it take to go through someone's bills?
Also, yeah. Well, I think she's trying to do more work because we don't know if she's getting paid for it, but I think she's trying to do more work to try and get them to pay her more. And that's why she keeps doing more stuff.
Oh, it could be. Yeah. Yeah. So she can be like, well, I worked 4 hours today instead of my usual 1.
Yeah. So you have to pay me for 4 hours.
Damn. I don't know. I feel like if I hired someone and like, if I could still like function and I just hired them to help me with like bills, although I don't really need, I'm thinking of when I'm old, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they start doing my laundry. I feel like I would almost be offended because it's like, I can still do my laundry, bitch. Like, I don't need help with that. I'm not that old.
See, that's you because you're very independent. But I'd be like, yeah, do my laundry. Yeah.
Oh, an extra $20? Oh, hell yeah. Do my laundry, please. Not me. I would be offended. I'd be like, I'm going to be like 90 years old, like a skeleton, right? Wrinkly ass skin. Like bones that are so brittle, and I'm still gonna be doing my laundry. Like, it's gonna take me 5 hours to fold like a towel, because like it's like I have to like slowly.
Okay, you got to know when to give it up.
No, I can't.
Be like, I need help.
Not me. That's gonna be me.
So, would you invite her back if she apologized for her behavior the first time?
If she apologized and promised not to do it again, maybe. Like, it would have to be like, if you come over, you are just there to eat, socialize, see some fireworks, and then get the out.
Yeah, I think it would have to have some type of agreement.
Yeah, it would have to be like a hard boundary of the food's gonna be where it's at.
She's gonna have an assigned seat and she has to stay there.
And the laundry is done. Do not touch the laundry.
Don't touch the laundry.
That was probably the other thing she tried to do.
Yeah, she's probably like, oh, while I'm here, I could probably do the laundry.
She's like, oh my God, I see a dirty shirt over there. I have to do the laundry. I'm like, girl, can you not?
Yeah.
Go talk to your aunts and uncles. Come on.
So, yeah, not the asshole
Not the
on that
asshole.
one. Not at all. We don't have any updates, but it was only posted 13 days ago. So they're talking about this year's 4th of July. So maybe there'll be an update and she shows up and maybe shit
Yeah.
will go down. So
Yeah, fireworks are used as weapons.
yeah, I'll keep my eye on this one. If this one gets updated, we'll read the update here.
I now hope that they use weapons as, like fireworks as weapons. I just think that would be so bad, right? Because it is like explode. It's actually like
Yeah.
a mini bomb.
Yeah.
But it's also like they go up in the sky and they're pretty. So
I'm just so like it goes on someone, it blows them up, like it blows their body into pieces. But it's like a firework, so it looks nice and pretty.
Yeah,
But you just
exactly.
blew somebody up.
Exactly. I don't think the fireworks that you shoot in the sky, I think they're strong, but are they that strong where they would absolutely obliterate
I don't think
someone?
they're that strong. But
Like, I feel like you might like lose a chunk of your arm or like your hand or something,
yeah, I don't think it would.
It'd probably
Well,
burn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All those sparks.
Yeah.
But it'd be pretty.
Yeah. So it'd be a pretty death.
Yeah, it would. You'd
And that's
see it
what
coming right at
matters.
your face. So it's perfectly fine.
Anyways, on to our next story, which also comes from Am I the Asshole? And the title reads, Am I the asshole for not paying to get into my friend's party? 4th of July edition. I'm 18 years old and one of my best friends was throwing a 4th of July party. The only people attending were our friend group, roughly 12 people, and a few others. She had previously mentioned that she would need whoever was drinking what she bought to give her money so she didn't foot the entire bill. But that was all that was mentioned of money. She had thought that the cost of all the drinks would be somewhere around $70 to $80, but it ended up being way more than that. Fireworks alone were roughly $150. Not sure about the total cost. Yesterday, July 4th, she had asked in the group chat for everybody, in all caps, to send her money regardless of whether they were drinking or not. I explained to her in what I believed was a very polite way that I would just be willing to give her around 10 for groceries, but that was all I could do since A, I'm not drinking her stuff, B, I'm only stopping by and won't be around for fireworks, and C, I'm going to college next year and my tuition is crazy expensive. Meaning I'm trying to save as much as I can. This was all in our group chat with everyone. She got extremely upset and said I was being ridiculous. I messaged her privately explaining the situation once more, and she told me that I shouldn't bother coming because, again, I was being ridiculous. She told me that money was always an issue with me, which I don't know what she meant by that because I don't owe her anything or have ever asked her to spot me for anything anymore because she used to hold it over my head. I said okay, and that I hope she has a good time, explaining further that she had stated just the day before that people who weren't drinking her stuff didn't have to give her money. My guess is that she realized how expensive everything was and backpedaled so she can make some of that money back. She never responded to that message, and I didn't go to her party. Flash forward a few hours, I'm at another party and having a lot of fun. I got to meet my boyfriend's friends finally and met a ton of other new people. I check my socials and see my other friend who I didn't mention because he doesn't have much to do with my side of the story, but he was the other person who helped plan the party, taking a picture with my ex-boyfriend. They had uninvited me and invited my ex-boyfriend who I did not get along with. Some people at her party were told the situation, though one of my other friends, the only one who knew what really happened at the time, and almost left out of anger. I don't know what to do because we are a very tight-knit friend group and things will get messy if I stop talking to some of them. It also hurts because I have known a couple of them since middle school. Please let me know if I'm the a-hole in this situation.
Well, no, not at all.
She said if you're not drinking, you don't have to pay.
Yeah, and then the next day she's like, oh, actually, I need everyone to pay me some money. And how is $10 not enough?
Because it's 12 people. So okay, let's do some math here.
This is why you do bring your own booze.
Yeah, that could have been a solution here, but let's see. So 10 times 12. I had to use a calculator. For
Oh
that.
my God.
120. So okay.
Well, OP said that they could only pitch in 10. So
Yeah.
everyone else could have pitched in more. And
Yeah,
I
but that's just assuming everyone just pitched in like the bare minimum.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but like you're getting money out of them anyway. So it's like, why are you upset that they can just give you 10? Especially when they clearly stated that they're only going to stop by. They're not going to drink. and they're not watching fireworks.
Yeah, so they're not in attendance of this full event.
Yeah, they're only like popping in, probably hanging out for maybe an hour to say hi to everyone and then leaving.
This is weird. And the fact, okay, also because they invited her, they uninvited her and invited her ex-boyfriend.
That's the crazy part.
Okay, so I'm like, did she do this on purpose to try and get her to not come so that they could invite her ex-boyfriend?
Maybe, or just it was a retaliation, like, you don't want to come to the party and you don't want to pay. Well, we're going to invite your ex-boyfriend that we know you don't like instead of you.
Yeah, it was probably that, actually. It was probably just retaliatory.
Like, that's crazy, though. Like, if I had an or even if you had an ex-boyfriend that was, like, a piece of shit and I knew you hated them and you couldn't come to my party and you couldn't pay me money to come to my party, you know, the last thing I'd be doing is inviting him. Because I guarantee if you didn't like him, I wouldn't like him.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of friends do you have? I would say the friendship's over. That's something, like, worthy to end something on, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're saying they don't want to, like, things to get messy in the friend group, but it's,
Messy
they already have, because she asked you to pay.
And it clearly sounds like her friend, because OP states that her friend said that money's always been an issue with her. Like,
yeah, which is, so OP said, I don't ever ask her to spot me anything anymore because she used to hold it over my head.
Exactly.
So we're talking about, so wait, how much did she want her to pay?
I don't think it said anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but we're talking about $10 here.
Yeah.
Like, she's going to give $10. I'm like, so to her, like the friend or whatever, this friendship is worth $10.
Exactly.
I'm like, you're really going to decline the $10 and be like, over $10?
And then
really?
be like a bitch to her about it. If that's all someone could contribute to your party, okay, fine. Go ahead, come. At least they're contributing in some sense.
Yeah, and like anytime I think when there's like a dispute with money in a friendship, it's like, okay, is the friendship worth this dollar amount?
Literally.
And we're talking about $10 here.
Exactly. I don't know, man. I just think $10 is a perfectly acceptable amount, especially for someone who's only going to be there for like an hour or so. I would be like, if you're drinking and you're heavily drinking and you're not bringing any alcohol of your own, okay, then it's more understandable that you would want them to pay a little bit more. But it's also like you're hosting a party.
I was going to say that too. I'm like, it's kind of weird to be like the host of a party and be like, actually pay.
Yeah. If you want to get into the party that only 12 people are here at, you have to pay a charge.
There's an admission fee, and then there's a cover charge. Yeah. There's a fee for the band. And
there's a firework fee if you want to watch the fireworks. You have to pay extra. If not, put a blindfold on and turn around.
Put a blindfold on. And and you have to wear headphones too, so you don't hear them.
So you can't hear the explosion. Only water if you're not drinking. You can't even have the soda refreshment.
No ice either. Just,
just tap water from the hose.
From the hose.
Yeah.
You don't actually, okay, listen, that's a very American thing to have like ice in the water, and like, and also to drink water from the tap is also
I don't drink
American.
tap water though.
Well, I mean, like, wait, so you don't put like water from the faucet in a filter and like, no?
I only drink bottled water.
Okay, so you're European, I guess.
Yeah, fuck tap water. But I do, if I'm like making pasta, I use tap water.
Well, yeah, why would you use bottled water for that? Because you're gonna boil it anyways. Anyways, there's an update for this.
Ooh.
In the comments. The update reads, they ended up talking bad about me and telling everyone I chose not to go as opposed to being uninvited. And they made it out like I ditched them for other people. The girl I texted showed the messages to anybody. I'm guessing that's supposed to say everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because I was right. Long story short, I ended up dropping those people a month later for that and many other reasons, and they started stalking my socials.
Oh.
Well, time to find a new friend group.
Literally.
And it looks like you are, so good for you. I mean, they're only 18, so.
You know, now that I think about it, maybe that's why OP's friend was like so confused on alcohol prices. They probably were over consuming alcohol. Okay.
Wait a minute. So they're 18 and they're flirting for 4th of July. Okay, so they just admitted to crimes on the internet.
Oh my God, we're reporting them. Reporting.
Because I'm like, that just clicked in both of our heads at the same time. We were like, wait a minute.
I was like, wait a damn minute. So, okay, here's my other question. How is OP's friend getting the alcohol if they're 18?
That's what I was going to say now. I'm like, okay, so who's the one buying?
Yeah, who paid for it? Who bought it? Unless they're friends with a 21-year-old.
Which they could be, or it's their parents.
Or maybe OP's friend is 21. I'm so confused now how they got the alcohol. I want to know all their ages.
Or they just, pull up to the gas station and ask somebody in the parking lot, hey, would buy this for us.
Yo, can you buy like $200 of alcohol? Like, what the How much did you buy it?
Give me a pack of cigs too. Actually, this is probably why she didn't know how much it would cost, and it ended up costing more because she's probably never bought alcohol before.
But again, if you're asking someone to go buy alcohol for you, not in personal experience, but you give them money and you say, buy whatever you can with this, and then they do that. So either the person she gave the money was like, yeah, I know you only gave me $70, but I was like, you guys have to have this and this extra. So I don't understand how they overpaid for alcohol.
They didn't plan any of this.
No.
Well,
not at all.
At all.
Not at all. And why, again, why is the budget any of your guests' issues? If you can't afford the alcohol or you didn't want to foot the whole bill, you tell everyone, if you want to drink, bring your own alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be generous, bring alcohol you're willing to share.
Well, and it's also, it's unclear if, she is hosting the party or if they've all agreed that, yeah, we're going to chip in and do this. Because if she's saying, hey, I'm having a party, I'm like, okay, so you're hosting the party, so you're going to have stuff, right?
Yeah. Unless if I'm invited to a party, I'm immediately assuming that I don't have to pay, right?
Why would you ever assume that you have to pay?
Exactly.
To go?
So, yeah, in this case, first, OP's friend's like, okay, anyone who's drinking has to chip in money. And then she's like, everything's a lot more expensive than I thought, so everyone has to chip in money. It's like, okay, if that's the case, do a bring your own booze to save everyone the headache.
And that's like you said, that's not your guest's problem that you underestimated how much this is going to cost.
Or if you have a bunch of underage people coming over who can't buy their own booze, say, give me the money that you're willing to spend on booze, and I'll go buy it for you.
Yeah. And that's legal advice. If you have a bunch of underage people coming over to drink, do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask them for the money so you can go buy it for them on their behalf.
Okay, so she's not the asshole for that one. Clearly not. Good thing she's finding a new friend group.
Yep.
So good for her. Next. Our next story also comes from Am I the Asshole? And the title reads, Am I the Asshole for Not Allowing Alcohol? I have a pool and agreed to host a 4th of July celebration for our family because no one else really has a nice space. I've always been of a mind that alcohol plus water don't mix. Alcohol contributes to numerous drownings every year. There will be several small children present at this event, some of whom can't swim. I'm not signing up to babysit everyone else's kids. I told everybody if they come to my party, they can't bring alcohol and got huge pushback. I said, fine, that I can just close the pool instead. They don't want that either. I suggested someone else host. No one volunteered. I'm getting a lot of pushback from people saying you have to drink on the 4th of July. People saying I'm a killjoy and a fun vampire. I feel I have presented 3 reasonable options. Option 1, no alcohol. Option 2, no pool. Option 3, don't come to my house. My family are all pissed, and even my wife says I'm being too strict and we should compromise by disallowing hard liquor but letting people drink beer. I don't really see how that's a solution, though. Am I a fun vampire?
I don't think so. Okay, here's my opinion. If you have to drink to have fun, you have a problem.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, you have an issue. If you can't just go to someone's house and talk and yap and swim in a pool and have fun.
No, I have to have beer.
I need my hard whiskey right now. Like, okay, I get it. If maybe they were all adults, right? I'd be like, okay, you're all adults. You're all in the pool. If one of you drowns, whatever.
It's your fault.
It's your fault. But when he said that there are little kids going to be involved.
That's where it changes, I think.
Yeah. And it's also like people do at the cookouts. They do get shit-faced drunk or they get distracted by drinking and yapping that they don't watch the little shits who are running around. So that is a common thing, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so I can see why OP's like, okay, no alcohol. And he gave them reasonable options. Okay, if you guys want to drink, then we can't have the pool open.
Yeah, which is totally like a good solution to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess they want to swim too.
Okay, so tough shit. You're going to someone's house. It's also their house, their rules. Their party,
Exactly.
their rules. You know, if they're saying don't bring alcohol, don't bring alcohol. And if you're mad about that, then yeah, have a party at your house and have alcohol. But it sounds like they just want to go to their house because they have a pool.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because no one volunteered when they were like, okay, well, let's do it somewhere else. No one volunteered probably because they don't have a pool.
Yeah, they're all like, we want to swim and drink.
Yeah, with our little kids running around.
Yeah, come on.
And also, just like you have your kids, like your little kids around, and you're just, even if the pool wasn't there, you're just you just want to drink so you can get drunk, and you still have your kids around.
Yeah. I don't like that. It's also like you're going to have to drive home. So
yeah,
why are you drinking?
Unless your kids are 16 or something, then
You know, actually OP has a fourth option. Hire a lifeguard.
Hire a lifeguard?
Hire a
Can you
lifeguard.
hire a lifeguard at your own pool?
I don't know. Try it out. I'd make everyone else who wants the pool open and drink contribute to hiring a lifeguard.
I would laugh so hard if I drove by and saw somebody's like one of those pools you have to put up every year,
God.
and there's just a seat over the pool with a lifeguard with the whistle in the mouth, like
no running,
no running.
and someone not a lifeguard, just hire a random life who doesn't know the family, doesn't know anyone, so they can't get distracted by yapping. You know.
Yeah,
their one and only
job. Then they would get distracted.
Yeah, it's one and only job is sitting on a lawn chair right next to the pool. Put that in the group chat.
If that's even possible.
I'm sure you can go on Facebook Marketplace or something. Go to Craigslist.
Lifeguard for hire.
I'm looking for a lifeguard for 4th of July cookout.
No, he just goes down to the community pool and he goes up to the lifeguard. He's like, can you come to my house on 4th of July by chance?
If we paid you, could you come to our home and watch our pool?
Are you by chance freelancing?
Yeah. Can I interest you in a business adventure here? Really start expanding your horizon as a lifeguard?
Yeah.
I think, that's a great option.
Yeah. But I understand why they don't want to have them drinking, even if, I mean, it's just a liability to even just have little kids around your own pool.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, you're supposed to put a fence around it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't.
Yeah. And also, if a kid does drown in your pool, there's a chance you get in trouble for it.
Yeah, exactly. So he doesn't want to take that risk.
Yeah. And he doesn't want to babysit other people's kids. Because it sounds like he's not going to be drinking.
Oh.
So
yeah.
If everyone else is drinking, I can see how they easily are like, well, he's sober, so he can watch the kids.
Yeah, but he's not your babysitter.
Exactly.
Unless all the parents want to hire babysitters.
Yeah, don't bring your kids to the pool day. 4th of July party. Yeah, I don't think it's crazy to ask no alcohol then. Or no pool. I think that's a totally reasonable, like, solution.
But these people, they
want the best of both worlds.
They can't go one day without drinking. I think they're just a bunch of alcoholics.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they're from around here.
I was gonna say they're hardcore Wisconsinites.
Yeah, literally.
If they really just needed to drink something, they could just, go out to their cars on the street like once every hour and go take a little drink and hang out there for a little bit and then come back.
They got to pregame hard before they come over. Okay, here's my other question. If they all showed up already shit-faced, would OP still let them in?
I don't think so, because I think that's the whole problem here is that they would be drunk around a pool.
Yeah.
Which that's really dangerous. Like water, like you think of water, it's just like, yeah, we drink water. It comes out of the faucet. It's water.
Mm-hmm.
But like just water existing in a space like kills so many people.
Yeah, I almost choked on my own spit. So that's basically water.
What?
I almost drowned.
That is not the same that is not within the scope of drowning at all.
Yeah, it is too, because it went down the wrong tube and I couldn't breathe. I was drowning.
Drowning does not mean you can't breathe.
Well, I had some water in my lungs because I swallowed
No,
it.
you had saliva. That saliva
That's
is not
basically
water.
water, though.
No,
It's a liquid.
well, ice has water in it. Do you call it
Okay,
water?
yeah, it's made of water.
But you don't call it water. You call it ice.
Okay, and you call that a Baja Blast, but it's still got water in it. It's basically water.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Because
it
it's
is.
a Baja Blast.
Okay, and saliva
That's
is
the whole
basically
point of
water.
making that saliva is saliva, not water.
Okay, if I just kept spitting into a cup and I put it in front of you, would you automatically be like, that's spit? Or would you be like, that kind of is clear like water?
I'd say it's spit.
But if you didn't know that I just spit into the cup, I just put it in
I
front
would
of you.
still probably be able to tell.
You think so?
Yeah.
We were just talking about how easy it is to drown, okay? And I just said that you could drown on your own spit.
That's not drowning.
Well, you get the experience of what it could be like.
I
if you were
don't
drowning.
think that is the experience. Even if you
No.
can't.
Drowning is a cause of death.
So if I put my head under the water and inhale, I'm drowning.
So you're suicidal. So you're willingly drowning yourself.
No, I'm just putting my head under the water and like breathing
Okay,
in.
what do you call that? What do you call that then?
Putting my head under the water, doing it
You're
once.
drowning.
I'm talking about doing it once. If I just dip my head under the water, breathe in.
Okay, that's different.
See,
No.
that's the point
No.
I'm trying to make. Is that's not drowning.
Look up what drowning means. Look up what drowning means.
Nose and mouth covered by water and be deprived of oxygen. So if I just put my head under the water for
Shut the fuck. We're gonna agree to disagree on that.
Okay.
Because I don't think we'll ever see eye to eye on that.
I don't think so either. Anyways, we have a small update on that one, and they say, I retracted my offer to host. There will be no pool party. They can get drunk wherever they like, but my pool will be locked up and my family's going to go watch fireworks. I'm so sick of entitled people. So no party.
Damn, that was a simple
Canceled.
resolution right there.
That was option 4, no party.
I mean, good for him for laying his foot down.
Yeah, because like if that was me, I probably would have caved.
Really?
Been like, fine, you can drink.
See, I feel like I'd just be like, no, out of spite. I'd be like, you really want to drink, huh? Let's see you go one day without drinking.
Make it a challenge.
Yeah.
It'd be like,
One day without
not
drinking
for
challenge.
1 day challenge. Anyways, on to our next story, which also comes from Am I the Asshole? Title reads, Am I the asshole for pulling out of a 4th of July trip with my best friend because she's bringing her girlfriend? Basically, my best friend invited me on a trip with her and her family during the 4th. I agreed and have been intending on going. A couple weeks ago, she flippantly announced that her girlfriend would now be coming, which on surface isn't an issue. I like her girlfriend and we get along well. However, since they have begun dating, I've become like a cooked-in third wheel. Matter of fact, there was a situation prior to this in the fall where me and her had a trip planned, and the week before, she randomly announced that her girlfriend will be going. Of course, she would stay with us, so I was confused on why she wouldn't tell/ask me how I felt about it. No matter how well you get along with someone, staying in a hotel room with a couple is just uncomfortable, and they also aren't the type that's afraid of PDA or making sexual comments to each other when they're in front of people. The trip was fine, and outside of the fact that she tried to get me to split the hotel 2 ways instead of 3, because if she made her girlfriend pay, she would have to stay with her brother, and she doesn't want to be away from her. Wasn't aware this was a couple's trip, but okay. Point is, I stood my ground and she sure as hell paid the girlfriend's portion because that was ridiculous. I'm so exhausted of only being able to hang out with her when her girlfriend is there. I get everyone prioritizes everything differently, but filtering everything against your relationship and leaving absolutely no time for anyone, especially someone that you claim to be your best friend, is just troubling for me. I have a boyfriend. I understand your significant other takes precedence, but me and him both have a very healthy balance of our relationship and our friendships. She doesn't seem to have that, and that's fine. But as the person on the receiving end, I don't know how that's supposed to make me feel. It just feels like our friendship no longer exists independently of their relationship, and I'm just a side character. Anyways, I'm going to tell her I'm not going anymore, and when she asks why, I'm just going to straight up tell her that I'm not interested in being the third wheel for 5 days. Edit, I'd like to clarify the plan would be for us all to share a hotel room.
I mean, why does she keep inviting the girlfriend last minute?
I think I think this is what's happening. I think the girlfriend doesn't want her hanging out with another girl alone.
Ooh, yeah.
Because
could
it
be
seems like, at least from the way it happened this time and the first time, it wasn't planned that she was going to be coming at first, but then she's like, oh yeah, she's coming now.
Yeah.
Because I think she's like, the friend is probably telling her, hey, I'm going on this trip with, whatever, OP. And then she gets super jealous about it, and she's probably like, okay, fine, well, you can come too.
Yeah, it could be that.
I think that's
or
what's
they're
happening
like
here.
a really clingy couple. But no, that wouldn't make sense then, because OP's friend would tell her girlfriend immediately, oh yeah, I'm making plans. And it would immediately be, you're coming with.
Yeah, that's why. That's specifically because she's always coming like later, not part of the initial planning. I think it's probably that.
Yeah. Is this an Am I the Asshole post? Why is she asking if she's the asshole again?
For saying that she's not going on this trip now.
I mean, I don't think she is. I mean, it is uncomfortable to be a third wheel. Like, it's not ideal, especially if you're sharing a hotel room.
I mean, it's always uncomfortable to be a third wheel, but especially when you're with a couple and you're by yourself.
Yeah.
That's even worse. And you're going to share a hotel room with a couple.
Especially a couple that's willing to openly be affectionate and make sexual comments to each other.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like, unless I'm into it and they're hot or whatever, then it's fine.
Well, my thing is like, there's a time and a place, okay? And if you're in a shared hotel room with someone and you're making sexual comments to each other, it's a little weird. It's different if you're out in public or with a friend group and you like do a little comment and everyone's like, oh, haha, couples, whatever. But it's like a different thing if you're in a in a private space making comments.
Yeah,
like that.
That's just.
I mean, even
weird.
in public, it's kind of frowned upon.
Or maybe they're trying to get her in on like a threesome or something.
Oh,
That's why they're making those.
This
comments.
is the whole plot.
They're like, yeah, she'll come with us, and then they start making sexual comments in the hotel room.
There's only a king size bed.
Oh, what are we gonna do?
What are we ever gonna do?
I guess we're gonna have to all spoon each other.
They just print a sign that says "No clothes allowed" on the bed or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's the asshole for being like, I don't want to go, because it is uncomfortable. And especially like when it's a last minute thing, because I can imagine OP was probably looking forward to it. And also, like, I could see getting annoyed of every time you hang out with your friend, their girlfriend is with you.
Yeah, that's also making me think that the girlfriend or whatever is like very not secure in this relationship, that she like has to be around her all the time.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't trust her.
Yeah, that or it's, but no, again, the clingy thing wouldn't work.
People are only clinging because they don't trust them, I think.
Yeah.
From knowing myself. And also, she's not the asshole because last time, even though she was coming, they tried to split the cost 2 ways instead of 3, which is like
not fair.
No, like and what is the reasoning? Like she would have to stay with her brother?
I wonder if it was like they said, "Oh, she will be coming," and then OP was like, "Okay, then we're splitting it." The cost of the whole before they went on the trip. Like OP was like, okay, we have to split it 3 ways. And the girlfriend wasn't able to afford that. So if she did go, because she couldn't afford her portion of the hotel bill, would have to stay with her brother or something. That's what I'm picking up from that. Like it wasn't like after the trip.
Oh, it was before the trip. And that already happened. So that was the first trip. So okay, if that's your answer, like, oh, well, if we did that, then I'd have to stay with my brother and she doesn't want to be away from her. Then it's like, okay, then don't go. Then you're not going.
Yeah. And also, if you can't afford to pay your fair share of a trip,
then don't
go on the trip.
Like,
unless they've very openly been like, okay, you can come. You don't have to pay. We'll cover the cost.
Yeah.
But this is a last minute thing of my girlfriend's now coming. We're still splitting it all 2 ways. No, we have another mouth to feed, another person to get a bed for. Like, no, 3 ways. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. And I mean, it just seems like, and we don't know who in this relationship is the more like clingy one, I guess. It's clearly a thing where one of them cannot stand to be away from the other. And that's not a healthy relationship, I don't think.
I mean, OP even said it herself that she has a boyfriend, but they understand that they can hang out with their other friends. Like they don't always have to be going on trips together. Like they don't have to be involved in all the trips they go on.
Yeah, I mean, like, you still have to have your own life.
Yeah, your whole
Separate
life
from,
can't
like,
be.
Your whole life can't just be them and only them.
Mm-hmm. I think really clingy couples, there's definitely something going on there. Like, I don't think you guys actually love each other. I think you're just like obsessed with each other.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm like, okay, you guys are clearly missing something in your lives that you're both just using each other for, is what I think. Because that's what I did.
Yeah, because if you actually like someone or love them, you should be able to trust them.
Yeah.
Fully. Like,
No.
you should be able to trust that your...
Continue.
You should be able to trust that your significant other can go on a trip and not cheat on you. And if you're worried that they're going to go on a trip with their best friend and cheat on you, well, then either you don't trust your girlfriend or you have some self-esteem issues that you need to work on.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the core of it. It's a reflection of yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And your relationship.
Yeah. Okay, one of the things I had for this one is, should OP bring her boyfriend to make a point?
Oh my God.
That would be so petty, but that sounds awesome.
That would be perfect.
Like, yeah, well, I'm bringing my boyfriend. Oh, you're bringing your girl? Great. I'm bringing my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, perfect. Double date.
And then she would probably be like, this is like making me uncomfortable. And she's like, oh, really? Is it?
Yeah, they should f in the bed too.
Yeah. The boyfriend should just be like really loudly in the hotel room, babe, you're making me really horny right now. Might have to whip my dick out.
I might have to bend you over the bed right now.
You know, and then they might have a foursome.
Yeah.
You know,
the girl, OP can be like, I see your bulge. A foursome's crazy.
They might have a foursome. The girls might scissor and
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's only one guy in this situation. So I was gonna say the guys lock eyes and but there's
bro's having a whole fantasy right now. God damn.
And this is from 20 days ago, so there's no update, but there could be one. Oh, so this is again from this 4th of July. This is this 4th of July trip.
Oh my God, we're getting the current tea.
We're getting the recent stories here. Update on this one. She brought her boyfriend and they had a foursome and they all
and now they're all
and now they're
a throuple or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say a throuple, but I'm like, that's not enough people.
No.
So yeah, she's not the asshole for that one. Hopefully the trip is going well or not going at all. I'll watch that one for updates too, because that was a recent post. So anyways, on to our final story today. So it comes from Best of Redditor Updates, originally posted on Am I the...
Oh my God.
On Am I the... Okay. Am I drowning?
No. Yes, you are.
Am I the drowning?
Am I the drowning?
So if I'm drinking water, I'm drowning.
Is it going in your lungs?
Yeah. Doesn't all water pass through the lungs?
Are you just rage baiting me?
What? The water goes through the lungs and then it goes into your large intestine first, and then
you're rage
no.
You're 100%.
Wait.
You are 100.
Wait. No, the small intestine is first, right? And then the large intestine. Yeah, because the large one would have to go below the smaller one because the smaller one would sit on top of it. So it goes down your windpipe into the lungs and then into the small intestine into the large one, right?
You are rage baiting.
What?
You are 110% rage baiting.
What?
You're rage baiting. You can't even come up with a reasonable answer to that question. You're rage baiting me.
No, I'm not. It goes. What is wrong with my explanation?
You're rage baiting me.
What?
You're 100% rage baiting.
What are you talking about?
Are you genuinely 100% for real right now?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
What do you mean?
You're not 100% for real.
Yes, right now. I am.
No, you're not.
Yes.
You're not. You genuinely cannot be for real.
What do you mean? What's the surprising thing?
Okay, first of all, there's two things. One, no. Two, you're missing an organ.
What am I missing? The liver?
You're rage baiting. Rage baiting.
No, I didn't say the liver. What is I don't even know what the liver does. Wait, but doesn't alcohol destroy your liver? So that means that liquid must go through your liver. Right?
Julian,
So when you eat a piece of food, it doesn't go into your lungs first and then into your stomach?
Your lungs are air only, or water if you're drowning, or liquid if you're drowning.
So there's no food in there.
No.
That's crazy. I thought there was like food in my lungs.
There's only food in your stomach.
That's crazy.
You are rage baiting.
No, I'm not.
You're genuinely rage baiting.
No, I'm not.
100% you are.
No, I'm not.
You are.
My mind is blown right now.
It is not because you're rage baiting. You already knew that.
That's why I'm like, because my mind is blown right now. I thought every time like I ate like a goldfish or something, that shit was going in my lungs.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
No, you did not.
Yes,
it's just like,
did.
I don't believe anymore that you didn't know you could put your pillow flat on the bed.
I actually didn't know that. And I
so you just admitted that yeah, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. You just wanted to fight. That's what you wanted to do. Rage baiting, bro. Rage baiting. I can't stand you.
Listen, I've been looking at Reddit for the past hour and a half. I just got the Redditor in me. I had to rage bait. Oh, that was so funny.
Was it though?
Yeah.
I sat here thinking my friend's an idiot.
Anyways, on to our final story today, which comes from Best Redditor Updates, originally posted on Am I the Asshole? The title reads, Am I the asshole for jumping out of the way when my niece and nephew tried to push me into a pool, resulting in them falling in? Happened today. My folks decided to host a barbecue because I guess that's what older people do. I declined because I really don't like my two sisters, their husbands, or their kids. Wife and I are child-free. Mom then pressured the wife. Long story short, we went. By the time we arrived, there were about 20 people there. My sister and their husbands were already solidly buzzed, drunk, really. My mom was spending 100% of her time trying to keep the nieces and nephews, ages 7 and 11, more or less under control. My dad has strategically retreated to the whirlpool part of the pool with a small cooler full of beers. Wife and I made small talk with the miscellaneous people, ate food, and had a frozen margarita. Sisters/brother-in-laws took turns criticizing us for being late, not being in our swimsuits, and screwing up the vibe. Whatever. Typical suburban summer get-together. About 45 minutes in, two of the kids ran at one of the neighbor guests who was standing next to the pool and pushed her in. She was at the pool steps, stumbled in, but didn't fall, so she only got half wet. She was clearly very unhappy about it, but she didn't make a scene. Just went over to where the parents were, grabbed their towels, dried herself off, and left. Sisters and brother-in-laws thought it was all great fun. A bit later, I was standing a few feet away from the pool chatting away with somebody. I saw three of the kids running full tilts at me from the corner of my eye. Obviously, I was next. Not that it's terribly difficult to outwit young kids, but I just jumped out of their way at the last second. All three of them ran straight into the pool at full speed. Most of the other guests, including my wife and me, started laughing, but their moms, who as I mentioned were pretty shit-faced, absolutely freaked out. Apparently, two of the kids couldn't swim even though they were in swimsuits. Since I wasn't in swim gear, I stepped back from the pool and let the other people fish the kids out. The kids were bawling their heads off like they'd lost a limb. At that point, all hell broke loose. The four drunk parents were yelling at everyone in general, and me in particular, for nearly letting their kids drown, and also because two of the kids had been videoing the trick using their parents' iPhones, which are now at the bottom of the pool. One of my brother-in-laws got into the pool to try and retrieve the phones, but his BMI and BAC made that impossible. No one else volunteered to help, unsurprising given that my sisters were still bitching at everyone. I told my sisters it was their job to watch their kids and that if anything had happened to them, it would have been their responsibility, not mine. There were some pretty strong words on both sides. Wife and I left after the other brother-in-law fell over and face planted while yelling at us.
Oh my God.
Now they're saying I should have let the little shits knock me into the pool and have their fun and ruin my phone. So, am I the asshole? Side note, Dad, of course, never got out of the whirlpool.
Oh my God, what a real one.
This does sound like a typical suburban barbecue.
Yeah.
With family and friends.
It does.
Some shit like this always happens.
Yeah, I've never been to a barbecue or something where everything goes as planned. There's
Yeah, it
always
never
something.
does.
There's
It
always
never
something.
does. I do have to admit that, and it's really funny that he was like, "Fuck you, I'm not letting you push me in that pool." And he
Hell
just
no.
moves on.
I wouldn't either though. Like, no. It sounds like these kids are kind of used to getting away with things, though.
Yeah, because the fact that they think that they can just run up to somebody and push them into a pool.
Yeah. You know what I would have done? I would have let them, and I would have drowned. I would have killed myself. I would have just
Out of spite.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to kill myself out of spite.
You know what, kids? You're going to learn your lesson today. And I would have just laid there at the bottom of the pool.
Yeah, then they really would have learned their lesson. They'll be scarred for the rest of their lives. And this is kind of what we were talking about earlier with the pool one, that like, okay, so the moms are drunk. They're not paying attention. Their kids are running around. They fall in the pool or whatever.
Yeah.
And they can't swim.
And I like how it's mentioned that the parents saw this and they didn't jump into the pool to get their own kid. Other people already in the pool got
like,
the
somebody
kids.
else do something.
They're like,
my kids are in there.
I don't have a swimsuit on.
What am I going to do?
Yeah. So just right there, yeah, again, it proves that the other guy in our other story was right.
Yeah. And they're also drunk, so they're probably like, oh, what are you doing in the pool? You can't swim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think he's the asshole. Also, it's like, okay, he jumped out of the way. So, okay, how does that make him in the wrong?
It doesn't, because they're trying to, like, I don't know, I guess they probably would consider this like a TikTok prank or something.
Yeah.
That they're probably trying to record. But they're also just, they're kind of like assaulting him. They're like going to push him and, into a body of water.
And also, I think it's weird considering that they did this before to a neighbor of the parents. So, like, they probably didn't know that woman that they tried to push into the pool.
No.
So it's like, okay, they were willing to push someone that maybe they know them, but not like fully. They were willing to push kind of like a stranger or someone they weren't familiar with into a pool. I think those kids are little rascals.
Well,
like,
yeah,
clearly.
and after the first time, the mom should have stepped in and been like, "What are you doing? Stop!"
Yeah, like stop! You can't do that, and apologize to the woman that was pushed in.
And also, the dad could have got out of the damn whirlpool with his beer cooler over there. It's like, oh, my kid's drowning, but man, my whirlpool, I got my beer.
That's OP's dad.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's OP's like dad.
Oh, I thought it was the kid's dad's. He's just sitting in the whirlpool like, those damn kids.
Oh, fuck, them kids, man.
He's like, you know what? I wouldn't be really upset if they did drown. So whose house is this at?
I think it's at OP's mom and dad's home. And he didn't want to go because his siblings were going and he doesn't like them. Yeah. Which I can understand.
Yeah, so he doesn't like the sisters, and now we can see why he doesn't like his sisters. So where were the husbands in this? Where were the kids?
They were there. The husbands were shit-faced with the wives.
Oh, yeah, because one of the brother-in-laws went into the pool to try and get the phones. But did you get his joke that, like, his BMI and BAC made that impossible? So he's fat and he's drunk. Yeah, I mean, I think this guy rocks.
Yeah.
Because those fucking kids, it's so common these days. These kids just run around and do whatever, and the parents are just like,
because there's no discipline.
They're just kids, what are you going to do?
Yeah, because there's no discipline. They don't tell their kids no. Because it's easier to kind of let your kid do anything without laying down the law, You don't have to beat your kid to get them to listen to you.
No, you have. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, because I think it's just easier to give your kid a phone and, like, ignore them.
That is the problem. You just give them their iPad and they'll just be there like,
no, you gotta have the volume turned all the way up on some game.
Subway Surfers.
Yeah. At a restaurant.
Can we go to McDonald's?
Yeah. I'm glad that the phones got ruined. The parents' phones were ruined.
Well, but also, okay, when is this from? This is from 2 years ago. Every phone for like the last 5 or 6 years has like water resistance. So
but
phone
if it's
falling in a pool,
completely submerged for a long time.
Yeah, like iPhones, and he specifically said it was an iPhone, and iPhones have had IP6, at least 6, 7. I'm not.
Oh my God. That was horrible. Oh my God.
Oh my God, the Gen Alphas would call me cringe for that.
Isn't that so crazy that like Gen Alphas are gonna start treating us like how we treat millennials?
I know. Well, they already are.
I know, and it hurts. I'm not that old, okay? I swear. I'm not that old.
Yeah, iPhones have been water resistant, at least IP6, 7 for like since the iPhone 7 and since like the iPhone 10, they've been IP68, which is like 5 or 6 feet of water for half an hour. So if they
Damn.
fell in a pool for a second, that would not affect them at all.
Well, it sounds like the pool, they fell all the way to the bottom, and obviously the brother-in-law could not retrieve them.
I know, like the guy doesn't want to ruin his phone, but I love to put my phone in the water.
What?
You know, if it's, I used to do this all the time. Like I would fill up the sink with water and I'd put my phone in it to like clean it, you know, because it's like, what better way to clean your phone than submerging it in water?
What?
Yeah, that's how I used to clean my phones. I don't really clean my phone.
You clean it like
anymore.
a fucking dish?
Yeah. I would honestly put it in the dishwasher if...
Oh my God.
All right, so off that initial post and the comments, he was voted not the asshole, clearly.
Yeah.
But there is an update from 1 month later. So let's see what it says. He says, first off, my folks tell me that my nieces and nephews are all good swimmers and that they use the pool all the time. The 7-year-old is still a beginner, but he loves the water. My sister just said they couldn't swim, so I look bad. To be fair, none of the kids are allowed in the deep end, which is where they fell in. It was the 2 10-year-olds and the 9-year-old who tried to push me into the pool. After we left, the party ended on a pretty sour note. My drunk brother-in-law, who face-planted while yelling at me, had to go to urgent care.
Oh my God.
And get his face stitched up. He was too toasted to drive, so Dad took him. Dad was not very happy about this. Had to get him out of the whirlpool, stop drinking his beer.
I'd be pissed too.
Late that evening, my sisters started a group text and said some really nasty crap. Their husbands threw in a few comments as well. Wife and I blocked the 4 of them. My mom called me. She was pretty upset about what they said. She and Dad were in the chat, and I don't blame her. Because of the text, my folks insisted my sisters/brother-in-laws come over the next day, Sunday, without their kids to get some things straight and lay down some ground rules. Mom's wording. The result was a contrite, if unenthusiastic, apology from my siblings via my mom's phone. I'm glad my wife was with me when they called. Her hard stares kept me from saying what I wanted to. I told them thanks and that we felt no need to discuss it further. Since I thought things were settled, I unblocked them. That evening, I got a text from one of the brother-in-laws telling me the phones cost X amount of dollars and asking when I'd be paying for them. What the f***? I replied, never. Took a screenshot of his text and forwarded it to my folks with a note that we were done with this nonsense. We were going no contact with sisters/spouses and not to invite us to any more holidays or get-togethers if they'll be present. Then I blocked the sisters and their spouses again. At that point, the shit really hit the fan. Dad called them and ripped them a new one. Among other things, he told them the grandkids were not welcome at his place indefinitely. Damn. Since my mom regularly provides free babysitting, that got them pretty rattled. He also banned them from using the vacation house and told them my wife and I actually own it, not he and mom. This completely freaked them out. Both of my sisters' families used the place a lot, including having their friends up for weekend getaways. This was very much out of character for my folks. They clearly had it, and for reference, I never wanted my sisters to know we owned the place. We bought it for my folks. They'd always wanted a place in the mountains. Keeping the ownership quiet was just a way to avoid drama with my siblings. A couple of days later, my sisters and their husbands came to our place unannounced to apologize in person. We were out to dinner and they left a note. One sister also called me at work too. I sent her to voicemail. We've decided being no contact is the best thing for the indefinite future and haven't interacted with them for the last 3+ weeks. Personally, I'm done. They can go pound sand.
Damn, what a twist. The kids can swim. They own a vacation home.
You already know these siblings are troubled that he didn't want to tell him that he owned the place.
Oh, 100%.
Because he knew it was going to be a big deal with them.
100%. That's crazy. I'm glad, though, that the OP's parents are, like, behind them.
Yeah, because that's usually the people that aren't in these stories.
Usually the parents are like, oh, forgive and forget, you know? So I'm glad that the parents are like, nah, f*** that.
He said the grandkids are not allowed here indefinitely.
No free babysitting.
Can't go to the summer house.
In the mountains.
Yeah.
That was probably what devastated them the most.
They were like, oh, not the house in the mountains.
What am I going to tell my friends when they want to hang out?
Yeah.
Like, what?
But that's not it, because there's another update.
Are you for fucking
a
real?
week after that one.
Oh my God. Oh, spill the tea.
So he says, well, it's been an interesting last few days. I thought the shit hit the fan before, but it was more of a fart compared to what's happened this week. For this to make sense, I need to provide some financial context. My folks haven't ever been good at saving money. I've been doing their taxes for years, so I know pretty much everything about them money-wise. Their house is paid for and they have minimal debt, but they didn't save much for retirement. Both of them get Social Security, Dad gets a solid pension, and they have a bit of savings, but there's no treasure chest in the basement. I bought their current car for them after they retired, a retirement present so they could have something nice to drive. It was the first car in probably 20 years they didn't lease. My sisters are convinced the folks are dripping with money and that our parents will be leaving the two of them everything since I don't need the money, so they've never cared about saving either. Turns out my oldest and her husband, they have 3 kids, have been living beyond their means for some time and are in financial straits. They've maxed out their credit cards and are behind on their car leases to the point that one is about to get repossessed. He bragged in the past about making X per year, but it turns out to be about half of that. She confessed all this to Mom on Tuesday because they need a loan and this was a what the f*** moment for her mom and dad, that for the last 3 years, instead of staying at the vacation house regularly, she's actually been renting it out once a month or so and pocketing the cash. We're talking $2,000 plus for a weekend and at least $4,000 for a week. With her being cut off from using the place, she's had to cancel one group already. She's now worried they'll lose everything. My folks aren't in any position to give them a loan. My other sister was aware of her renting out the place, but of course hasn't ever said anything. I suspect she's done the same thing as well, because I went up there once to drop off an ATV I had been working on, and there was a family there who claimed to be staying there with my sister/her family and that they'd gone to town for something. At the time I let it go, I figured she loaned out the house to some friends, but I've always wondered. I found all this out through my folks who are pretty stressed about this. Mom more than Dad. He's mainly just pissed off about it all. I know Dad feels betrayed, and I imagine he's embarrassed that he's in no position to help his daughter out. He did reiterate, as long as it's up to him, the girls won't be using the vacation home anytime soon. My folks let me know what's going on because they figured my sisters would put a full court press on me next, and they were right. On Thursday, my sisters came to our place again, without husbands this time, and waited outside the door until I got home. I had to choose between fighting with them in public, them making a scene if I went in without them, or letting them in, so I let them in. I got a bullshit story from the older sister with the younger one backing her up regarding why I needed to let them use the mountain house again immediately. They also said I've been a shitty brother and that I needed to step up and plan on paying for the kids' college tuitions since that's what family does. I let them pitch their story, then called them. Oh my God. Okay. I let them pitch their story, then called them out based on what my folks had told me. Things went to shit from there. There was denial, crying, cursing, yelling, you name it. I swear my ears are still ringing 2 days later. Won't lie, I said some really mean and shitty things to them, but nothing that wasn't true. They finally left about after an hour. After that, I took a shower and laid down. When I got up, my wife was home, and her first words were that she had to block more phone numbers because my sisters were blowing up our phones from new ones. Folks messaged me yesterday asking me to call. I'm sure my sisters have told them some bullshit version of what happened, but I'm not up to rehashing it yet. I'm usually a pretty energetic person, but this drama has me beaten down. I just had enough energy today to drive up to the vacation house and padlock the entrance gate shut. I'm the only one with the key. I'm guessing that will be enough to ensure that my siblings leave the place alone. They'd probably die trying to walk 400 yards uphill to get to the house. Wow.
Oh my God.
This is all over these kids trying to push them in a pool.
I feel like this was a long time coming, though.
Yeah, that was the straw that broke the camel's back here.
100%, because that's crazy.
Wow.
I'm so glad I don't live in a family like that.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Like, how the audacity to me to go into your brother's home and say, you've been a shitty brother, you need to let us use the house still, and you need to pay for our kids' college. You've been a shitty brother, that's the least you can do. He's been a shitty brother? What?
saying you have, well, of course you have to pay for my kid's tuition. Like, what are you talking about? What are you saying?
And the vacation house, renting it out. I feel like I've heard this before. Like, I know for a fact there's been other stories of people who are like, I have a vacation home. I found out my siblings been renting it out. That's so crazy to me. We've been living above our means. I've been renting it out. I need this money. Okay, that's not my problem. Maybe you guys should like cut back on spending.
They had it coming for them though, honestly, because these are like the worst people to have as siblings. Luckily, I don't have any siblings, so I don't have to deal with this. But this sounds like hell.
It does.
But
and
at least
know you're related to them.
Yeah, to be like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But at least the parents are on the right person's side here.
Yeah, they clearly. I just want to know, how did the sisters get like this, but the brother's normal? That's been always my question when like you look at a family and it's like you have like some really entitled, spoiled people in the family, but then you have some not, like people who act like normal.
I feel like, well, I don't know because I don't have siblings, but I feel like the younger ones would see the older ones becoming like stupid people and they're like, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, but also I feel like a lot of times it is the young one though, because they were spoiled as a kid. The youngest one's always spoiled. Youngest one's always spoiled. My little sister, she's always spoiled.
Or if you're the only one too.
Yeah. You're basically always getting the younger sibling treatment.
Yeah.
So if I had these siblings, I would probably block them way sooner. Like, he's put up with a lot, it seems like. And like, to still be nice enough to buy your parents a vacation home, right? And it's technically your home, but you are still allowing your bitch ass sisters and their rude husbands to go there, and you know they are, and you're just okay with that. Like, I feel like that's like really mature. Yeah,
like he's already being extremely generous to them.
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, of course you're paying for my kid's tuition.
Yeah. Like, they're extremely entitled.
Yeah,
like they think they are like privileged enough to just go to him and be like, you have to pay for, you know, our kids' college funds, and also we still have to use your vacation home.
Yeah, I mean they're just using him for his assets, I guess. And they're like, well, we're family, so you have to, right?
Yeah, no. They don't. They don't have to at all.
So those are our 4th of July stories. Those 2 that were not posted that long ago happening this year. Keep my eye on those. If we have any updates, I'll read them here in one of these episodes. Who knows? Maybe that one girl is on the trip.
Having a foursome.
Or an orgy. I guess that qualifies as an orgy.
According to Quora.
Yep. That guy on Quora. If you guys have any crazy 4th of July stories, put them in a comment below. We want to hear your crazy stories. Leave a comment. Do it.
Please.
So anyways, guys, remember to subscribe down below and also leave a comment of other themes and topics you'd like us to do on the show. Be sure to leave that down below as well. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in next week's episode.